This is the most dangerous place in the world. A child in Somalia who makes all merchant ships tremble. Since 2016, a ship is robbed almost every 4 days. Even in the face of escort warships from many countries, they are also fearless, except they run amok at sea. It's ubiquitous on land as well. The setup team just arrived and was targeted by Somali pirates soon after. The sudden gunshots made the cameraman lose his grip on the camera. He could only hide under the seat in a hurry. This is not a movie, but the real shot. These unexplained gunshots are the work of the pirate syndicate. They use trains to disrupt traffic. Hiding in the dark and firing shots is a warning. The guards immediately became nervous, shooting police officers while dispersing convoys blocking traffic. The atmosphere was instantly tense. People could die at any time. But this time, I don't know why. They didn't move on. The security personnel of the setup team immediately reported the situation to the local government by phone. So one person in a purple shirt, officials from the Minister of Interior of Purple City appeared. He told the setup team that they would have an account of the matter. Then he was escorted by numerous armed men. The setup team was taken to an abandoned car. The minister told the setup team that this was the car used by the attackers. They tried to pose as a police kidnapping unit and then hold a ransom. Fortunately, they found out in time and survived the accident. And the setup team was skeptical, but only accept because it has such a happy ending. They've already won the lottery. Somalia a few years ago was the real enemy. So where did they come from? What kind of people's politics? What role does the government play? Today we will go into Somalia, Africa to find out. Remember to like, collect and support. Thank you. This is the most dangerous prison in Somalia. The people that are being held here are basically pirates or people closely related to pirates. Don't look at them. They don't look amazing. It's not as vicious as the movie depicts, but their courage and combat effectiveness are outrageous, especially Farah Aidid, the largest warlord in Somalia. In addition to talking wildly about destroying the US military, they also killed 24 United Nations peacekeepers. This is a hornet's nest, so the United Nations ordered that Eddie be captured at any cost. This is exactly what Americans like. President Bill Clinton immediately decided to dispatch the 75th Army Special Forces, the 6th SEAL Team. There is also Delta Force, which is known as the trump card of the US military, going to carry out arrest missions. Except for the luxury special forces, the US military also dispatched advanced A-BAR, 6 Bird helicopters and MH-BAR, 60K Black Hawk helicopters. There are 12 Humvees on the ground to pick them up. And not only that, there are also 358 helicopters with advanced red and white wires and TV, cameras responsible for real-time, Hualian transmissions. The lineup is quite luxurious. The fighting began on October 3rd, 1993. In order not to alarm the snake and attract the attention of the Somalis, the US helicopter chose to take off by detour from the sea. The Humvee armored vehicle then responded. The 2 Bird helicopters arrived at the designated location around 3 p.m. The first SWAT team quickly captured powerful positions by descending. It took only 15 minutes to subdue the people in the building, under the cover of smoke bombs. But just wait for the ground troops to pick up everyone. It happened outside the 11th, when they just got the arrested prisoner to the car to prepare for evacuation, blocked by a large number of Somali armed forces. At this point, the Delta Force people weren't taking it seriously. Maybe in their eyes, these Somali militants are vulnerable garbage, not worth mentioning at all. But they completely underestimated the power of the Somali armed forces until a black helicopter was hit. They just realized the seriousness of the problem. All the special forces got nervous too. But that's just the beginning. Thousands of Somalis have gathered from all directions towards the crash site. See this scene from the return screen. Commander Major General Garrison couldn't sit still either. He immediately realized the seriousness of the problem, so he ordered another helicopter and a convoy of armored ground vehicles to come to support immediately. Set up a perimeter at the target location as quickly as possible to evacuate. But he didn't know that the Somali armed forces would never give him this opportunity. Somalia at this point has become an enraged hornet's nest. The entire city was almost mobilized. They're coming like the wind towards the crash site. The Delta Force Special Forces are also nervous. They scrambled to find a strong position and slowly approach the crash site. During the retreat, Delta Force Special Forces kept getting shot down. The situation has also become more serious. The number of Somali militants is also increasing. Keep approaching the Special Forces. And here's what's even scarier. The ground troops responsible for the response got lost at this time. Seeing that the response team could not arrive on time, Major General Garrison had to send another Black Hawk helicopter for reinforcements. But it's a dangerous decision because there are Somalis with RPGs waiting for them. At 1440, the helicopter was shot down before it could reach the designated location. But the pilot and a few other crew members escaped. Now the catch becomes the win. With the help of Black Hawk helicopters, 3 special forces also went into battle. But as soon as I got off the plane, I was surrounded. At this point, more than half of the trapped special forces have been casualties. The convoy that went to support was never able to reach the designated location. Bad news keeps reaching Major General Garrison's ears. In desperation, he made a bold decision to withdraw the rescue convoy and adjust it before setting off. This decision left the stranded SWAT team very puzzled, a little depressed even, but as soldiers, all they have left is to fight back and take over. Waiting for the rescue convoy to return to the camp, he did not dare to delay. With a few adjustments, he rushed to the rescue, but soon after entering the city, he was met with desperate resistance from Somali armed forces. They set up roadblocks, burning tires, shooting desperately at the convoy, making it almost impossible for the rescue convoy to move. Seeing this, Major General Garrison had to recall the convoy again. However, after several hours of fighting, the special forces were almost exhausted. There are not many pills and supplies left. There are also injured players who could die if they are not treated in time. As a commander, Kayamori is also in trouble. I couldn't think of any other way. They had to bite the bullet and send another helicopter to bring in supplies for the trapped team members. Although the helicopter was attacked frantically by the Somali armed forces as soon as it arrived. But as a military pilot, I know very well what this shipment means to my comrades. Even at the risk of being shot down, he still completed the task despite the supplies. But the danger situation of the Special Forces has not changed. Garrison also briefed the White House on the situation. But even the United States, no matter how powerful, is beyond its reach. At this point, he can only turn to the United Nations peacekeeping force in Somalia for help. I hope the other party can dispatch heavy, armored vehicles to participate in the rescue. His proposal was also quickly responded to. UN peacekeepers and US armored troops are marching towards Somalia, although it was also met with desperate resistance from Somali armed forces halfway through. But with the advantage of equipment and the change of night, rescue troops still arrive at the location where the special forces are trapped. But I haven't waited for the special forces to recover. Major General Garrison gave another order. That is to get the special forces to immediately rush to the second helicopter crash site and retrieve the pilot's body. Because there's a rule in Delta Force, no matter what the situation is, you can't leave your comrades behind. But now it's incredibly dangerous. The plane was completely deformed when it crashed. The SWAT team can only use armored vehicles to break firewood bit by bit. In addition to always beware of Somali armed attacks, we must complete the task before dawn because by day, the SWAT teams are up against tens of thousands of Somali fighters. The situation will be very dangerous. Time has passed by minute. After 3 hours, the pilot's body was finally lifted out, but it was also dawn. To make matters worse, the vehicles of the Malaysian peacekeepers involved in the rescue were also separated. The existing fleet is not large enough to seat all the special forces, but time waits for no man. In desperation, they could only walk out of the war zone under the cover of armored vehicles. But this is for a team that has been struggling all night. Exhausted physical strength is a big test. Soon, they were left behind by the convoy. Loss of cover for armored vehicles. People keep getting hit, but luckily it didn't cause too many casualties. Finally went back to duty afterwards. The Somalis vented their anger. They also took the bodies of American special forces to the streets. Let the carrying pilots appear in the newspapers to provoke the United States. The military operation that the US military once claimed to solve in half an hour was lost to the Somali armed forces. Also, let this American ace Known as the support of the world's top combat troops, 19 people were killed, 70 people were injured and 1 was served. 2 helicopters were shot down. The number of Humvees was destroyed at the cost of disgrace. It also became the most failed U.S. military operation since the Vietnam War. All the Somalis had to be released 11 days later. The U.S. military also withdrew from Somalia in March 1994. On 2nd March 1995, the United Nations Peacekeeping Force also withdrew from Somalia. Although the United Nations lasted more than 2 years, cost more than $2 billion, but it has not changed the situation of poverty and war in Somalia. So did the pirates, and then the pirates became more and more rampant. But most of the pirates were simple fishermen, risking their lives, walking on the sea, participating in crime, extorting huge ransom, just barely maintaining food and clothing. It's often those at the top who get rich. I believe that as warships from various countries join the escort, Somali pirates will also gradually enter the stage of history. I also hope that the Somali people can live a happy life as soon as possible.